Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Empyrion Galactic Survival version 1.7 and my workshop in progress in creative mode with Project Broadsword, which is nearing completion. It's possible this could be the last video for Broadsword before it goes live on the workshop. We're here in the crew lounge, which I don't think you've seen yet, complete with the ship's motto. Of course, they're Terran prospectors. They're out all about making money, and the motto "Prosper long and live" is completely adequate. So this is the new crew lounge, which I don't think you've seen yet. It's a rather simple affair, but it's comfortable enough, and got a big screen TV for movie nights. What else have we been up to? Oh, we've added a med store box. We've added a couple of signs on various locations. Some LCD work's been going on. There's a lot more LCD work to do, but that is about all that is left to do on the ship. So let's just have a quick wander, see what we've been up to. There's ventilators appearing everywhere, and I've forgotten what deck I'm on. Right, okay, down and in through this one. That's it. Right, so we've got a whole bunch of new containers up the center of the room here, all categorized for different things to help organize your stores when you're playing in Broadsword. We've got the small constructors in place finally. I decided, yeah, let's just go with putting them up the center. I really ran out of creative juices as to what to do with them, and it kind of fits. You know, the two advanced constructors on each side are the same length as the four small constructors in the middle, which works perfectly. The shields, I swapped them over. We've got the tier 1 at the front now, and the tier 2 in the shield bay in between the CPU bay and main engineering. So those are there. Big changes down in the hangar. Wrong hangar, guys. You've come out the wrong side. Okay, hold on. We can sort that. Open doors. Come on, open. Twin hangar doors each end, of course. Got the ramps in place for groundwork, and yes, we're on planet instead of in orbit. That's one of the changes that's been happening. Added a few guns here and there, just to start giving the ship a bit of defense. Open. Right, so you can see it a bit better in this side, where I've already brought in a few ships just to show off scale and the general size of things. Both hangars, of course, are mirror images of each other. We've got the small vehicle parking shelf up there for the very small SVs. The larger SVs can sit in the hangar here and sit off to one side like that. And if I just come up on this side of the hangar and look back along it, you can see that there's plenty of space with that wild goose sat to one side of the hangar. You can still get ships up the center, plonk them on the repair bay and take them back out the front of the hangar, and you've got space for parking on the other side as well. So loads and loads of space here. And ship name reveal. Project Broadsword now has an official name. It's going to be the TPS Illustrious. The Terran Prospector Ship Illustrious. That's her name. And it's proudly displayed in both hangars and on the stern of the ship. So if we just have a quick look up here onto the SV shelf, you can see it's the Scooter, which is a little mining SV. This is a reforged Eden ship because it's got mechanical drills on. I don't think you get those in vanilla. This is no stranger to anybody who watches my live streams. This, of course, is the Spindrift. This is the Indictor, the level 15 version of it, which is warp and shield enabled. It's got Gatlings on it, it's got railguns on it, it's got guided missiles up the top, and it's altogether a very nice little ship to fly. And, of course, keeping the symmetry theme on the Illustrious, we got front and rear elevators on that shelf. The Goose, again, should be no stranger to anybody who's been watching live streams. It's one of my early to mid-game SVs for bullying Xerax POIs. So, the hangar. A lot of work went into the hangar, trust me. A lot of work to get that done. I've also been changing around a lot of the thrusters. Now, I really should go into God mode and fly around to do this, but I'll try to do it on foot, because it'd be nice to do it on foot just for a change, since we're on planet. So, this is the stern of the ship, and initially you can't see any change other than the fact that I've blocked up that thruster cavity. Except it's not actually blocked up, it's only capped, because the cavity has been used to put a second down thruster here, and the same at the front of the ship on both sides, of course. So we now have 12 of the large thrusters giving down thrust, and we've added some extra medium thrusters in the nose, just to give a little bit of extra strafing and some extra yaw. And up on the top there, you can't see them from here, there's also an extra couple of medium thrusters, which also give us, oh, I haven't got my jets on, which also give us a little bit of extra pitch. Door, are you going to open? Getting this jankiness again, where hangar doors stop working if you've got ramps in proximity to them. Okay, well, we're going to have to close them, because we're going to want to take off and do a test flight. And I'm sure that's the bit that you're all gagging to see, test flight. So, while I'm getting the doors shut down and getting the ship ready for takeoff, if you want to see the test flight, if you've been waiting for it, in the comments down below, just type test flight and press enter. That's all you have to do. And I know it's not a live stream, but it'll show me how many people were really waiting to see the test flight. Yeah, there's the elevator, and go all the way up to the bridge. So we go all the way up to the top. We take this little kinky corridor, we take this second elevator, we step out of that one, we step into this one, and we go all the way up to the bridge, which is in here. A little bit of work still to do in here. It's still very Spartan, very plain, so I've got to fancy it up a little bit in here. But I mean, it's fully functional and it's ready. Beautiful pilot's view, as you can see there. This is almost as good as the Splinter. The overall visibility, just a little bit of occlusion in the corners from the edges of the windscreen. Why are you decompressing? Oh, you were already started up. Sorry, ship. Right, make sure everything's on. Thrusters on. Oxygen shields and lights is on. We'll just wait for that shield to charge up. We don't need to, because we're staying down here. Right, you can see she's bouncing and ready and raring to go already. Very fast lift. And away we go. I'm going to throw her around a little bit in first person, then I'll go to third person, and then we'll jump up into orbit. So just to give you an idea of her maneuverability, we'll take a run at that cliff. And we'll just pull up as we get onto these bumpy bits. So pull up, It was strange. My mouse did the opposite of what I was telling it to do. I think the cats have been playing with the cables again. Come on, pull up. There we go. You see, if you watch the pitch ladder, she's pointing her nose straight into the sky right now, and I can very quick. I'm not even rushing it. I'm just taking my time there. Quickly bring her down into level flight. Take her down very quickly again into a vertical dive, and bring her up into level flight. Responds very well. Do something like this, and my mouse has been inverted. That's what the problem is. I normally use my mouse the same as my joystick, which is pull back to climb. That's going the opposite way to what I'm expecting to go. So my mouse has been inverted. I need to look at the settings and clear that. That's not a problem. We'll live with it. We'll get around it somehow. So if we just get her into a level flight, put autopilot, put cruise control on, go into a third person view, and you'll be able to see just how fast she can yaw, which, you know, she is pretty fast. All that worrying about thrust and mass has paid off. She's twitching and hovering a bit like some of the SVs. And she flies very nicely, I must admit. What she's like when she's fully loaded, I haven't tested yet. But this is... she's basically at fighting weight, which is empty cargo, but with ships on board and full ammo. Or the weight that I'm carrying is the equivalent of full ammo. And she's not having a problem with it at all. So let's just do a lift test. We just need to go back into first person view, and we just get into there and we touch down. We need to go third party just to see where we're at. Yeah, crush that tree. Well done. Right. Okay, so she's all closed up, and again, green and red navigation lights, white lights in the stern. Correct to international shipping rules. Okay, she's on the ground. We are going to go for a belly thrusters only lift off and see how quickly we can get her to space. Very quickly, up to 60 meters per second, the maximum speed in atmosphere there. And you can see that she is no slouch at all. She is full speeding it into atmosphere using just the belly thrusters, and straight up to 100 meters per second in space. And if I switch to forward thrust, again straight up to 100, and bring her back round, and we'll head across to the space station, which should be over there somewhere. No, that's me. What am I talking about? Space station should be behind us. Somewhere in that direction. Do the ping. Now, she's got no fixed weapons. It's all turrets, and she is nowhere near fully equipped with turrets. She's got enough for basic defenses. They're all ballistic projectile. No energy weapons on her at all. And you will be surprised how much CPU she has got left. which once we get to the space station, I'll show you. Let's do it properly. Let's put the beam onto the planet and fly around like this. This is the correct way to orbit a planet. Just have some views at the various aspects of the ship as we're flying around. Bring her onto the orbital plane. And we'll just bring her alongside the Titan for a comparison of size. She's going to be a lot shorter than the Titan, obviously. Oops, get down a bit. And she's just got so much thrust that sometimes it's kind of impossible to keep control of her. Right, so a minute. Nudge it around there a wee bit. She's just nudging the Titan. Right, so try that. Well, there we are. She's about 2/3 the length of the Titan. She's obviously quite a bit chubbier, but every bit as capable. Let's see if I can just bring her up to the same height. Down a bit. There we are. So she's taller than the Titan by a good margin. They're about the same width. About 2/3 of the length, but you know, obviously she's a lot more ship than the Titan. The Titan's basically a stick with some wings on it. And if I just put a bit of space around there so I can get round her and go back into first person view, get that level on the horizon, just close the ship down, jump out. I'm going to go into God mode and we'll go and have a look around her. So, most of the main deck has not changed. You've seen all of this before. Lots and lots of vacant positions and lots of extra real estate everywhere for adding additional guns. You could absolutely turn this into a monstrous gunship. There is all the capability in the world for doing it, and as you can see under here in the central channel, I've now got 5 guns in place, starting from the stern. If I put my light on, we've got a minigun, then we've got a guided missile launcher, then a 30mm cannon, an empty space, a 30mm cannon, 2 empty spaces, another guided missile launcher, but there's also a pair of sentry guns for dealing with infantry and predators on the underside of the ship. Out on the top, I've added, on the quarter decks, I've added a sentry gun on each side. We've got the artillery pieces here, the flak cannons on the top, And you notice I've added the mining drill on this side and the tool turret for salvaging on the starboard side. Starboard for salvage. Yeah. And they've got their own searchlight arrays, which are not obvious initially. There's one above and behind each of the turrets. There's another one in the center between the two XL engines. There's also angled ones on the quarter beam here, so that you get a good lighting array punching back onto your salvage or your asteroid, allowing you to mine away quite happily even on the dark side. The thrusters down here, again, same as I did at the bow. I've capped off the original thruster bay in there, and we've got the two down thrusters here. I mentioned that earlier. We've got the ramps in at all 4 hangar doors. Each hangar door is still twin doors, of course, and I've added thrusters here for extra strafe as well as for extra roll and pitch. Roll and yaw. Gives me extra roll and yaw. So what have all this thruster work given us? Well, if I just get the stats up, I probably need to switch. No, I don't. Right, so currently we have got 77 meters per second, or 2600 meganewtons front and aft. We've got 2300 meganewtons lift, giving us 68 meters per second. Meters per second squared, not meters per second, sorry. We've got 41 meters per second of strafe with 1377 meganewtons, and downward thrust pushing us downward. We've only got 24 meters per second squared, or 805 meganewtons. I might try to squeeze some extra thrusters on the top just to increase that stat there, which will help. She has got a lift value of 39.8 something per ton, whatever that is. I don't know whether that's 39.8 meganewtons per ton or what. She's got a drag coefficient of 2.0 per ton. Maximum speed of 100. Torque detail, for those of you who like to see it, take a screenshot of that. There's the numbers. They don't mean a lot to me, other than the speed of rolling, pitching and yawing, which they are respectable speeds for a ship of this size. And the accelerations are pretty good as well. So that's her numbers. She's doing very well. What does it take to build her? Well, if we go, I've forgotten which one we go to. We can get them here. Iron 26,000, Sathium 36,000, carbon substrate 1500, copper 2800, silicon 6100, erestrum 4400, Scosium 4400, neodymium 4800, cobalt 3300, titanium rods 13,000, 156 steel grow plots, 75 planks, 8 large optronic bridge, 4 large optronic matrix, and 10 pentaxid raw material for something or other. No idea what that's for. Overall, she's not a hugely expensive build. The erestrum and zascosium could take a little bit of work to get. She's not going to be your first CV. Might not even be your second CV. And she does need finishing off. I've left a lot of scope for you to do whatever you want with her. I mean, I've marked out gun positions in places, as you can see. But there's plenty of real estate dotted around for extra guns or missiles or whatever you want to put on her. She has got a pretty solid bow. as I'm in God mode, if I just go in, this is all combat steel in here. You can see it's not the biggest or the deepest bow by any means, but she's got a solid bow with decoy generators and lag shot spacings. These rooms here act as lag shot spacings as well. And you can see there's big open spaces behind them, although the fuel tanks are pretty close. You really don't want a lag shot impacting on this wall and blowing through it with those tanks there. So remember, she's not a frontline head-to-head battleship. She's a support ship. But she is pretty solidly built, and she can take a beating. Several layers of combat steel between the outside world and anything vital on the inside, all the way around her. And lots of space for role-playing, dormitories, crew lounge. Even the gravity generator front and aft have got their own chambers. Warp drives in its own chamber. You've got full kitchen, or full galley I should say, full med bay. You've got large aft engineering with workstations and all sorts in it. Visible thrusters. You can do a nice Star Trek Scotty, add more crystals in there. That's the rear shield bay with pentaxid and promethium storages. That's the tier 2 shield. The tier 1 shield is up the front there on the production deck. You've got 4 advanced thrusters, 4 small thrusters, loads of cargo boxes, and don't forget you've got 6 320k cargo arrays. That one's basic cargo. That one is ammo, 320k. That one is harvest for the salvage turret and the mining turret, 320k. There's 320k there. And then in each hangar, you have got a 320k array here. You've got space along the floor on that wall below the yellow railings. You've got space for 8 double length cargo containers. You can get 6 on that side, so you can get 14 cargo containers just on the grey stripe on the floor in the hangar. You could also put more up top if you wanted to. I mean, just as an example, if you wanted to make it a real squeeze to get onto the SV landing pad, those 2 blocks there, you could put a double length storage container there, all the way down there, and you will get, I think it's another 18 down the side there. If you use the 500 hit point reinforced containers, then it's going to add some armor down that side for you as well. There's a lot of scope here for different things. Generators, apart from the 3 decoys in the bow and the large tier 1 in aft engineering, you've got 2 primary tier 1 larges here. You've got a tier 1 large purely for the teleporter. That's all that one does, is run the teleporter. When she's powered up, in terms of power, she is kicking out 172,000 power units. She's consuming 56 while the shield is charging and the thrusters are on. Now the shield is charged. She's dropped down to 7,000 in use, leaving you 165,000 for your weapons and thrusters and recharging your shields, etc. So your maintenance equipment, all your standard bits and bobs on standby are at 7,000 power units. Fully fueled, if I just fill her again, fully fueled, you will get Where's it gone? With everything on, you get 25 hours. If I turn off the shield and the thrusters and the turrets and the oxygen, just leaving her on standby as if you'd logged out, you get 75 hours, which is 3 and a bit days. 24, 48, 56, 76. Yeah, it's about 3 days continuous power on a server with thrusters, weapons and shield turned off, but everything else left on. Now you could go around and you could do things like turn off all of the constructors, you could turn off the food processors, basically everything except the fridges. And I think doing that, the maximum that I got shown was 89 hours based on a full fuel load in the current storage. You notice this one is not active. That's because there's nobody standing on the teleporter. As soon as somebody stands on the teleporter, this one kicks in to make sure that there is no pressure on any of the other generators at all. That's just a little bit of signal logic. I forgot to mention forward engineering. You've got forward engineering in here with access to the big old thrusters, corridors and stuff everywhere. Out here you've got your categorized containers for your different types of ship and base parts, including your universal parts, your blocks overflow for your building blocks, your basic building blocks, armors, tools and weapons there for everything. And it's my phone that's doing those bleep bloops. It's just done it again. Alternative position for the core is in here. I've still got to put the alternative cockpit position in, and also a third alternative position for the core. I will do those. I will not show them on the video. If you want to know where they are, you'll need to subscribe to the blueprint when it's on the workshop, and you'll have to bring the ship in to find them. That way, at least it's going to take a while before everybody knows where they are. So this is her. She's as good as finished. I've just got a little bit more texturing work to do, a little bit of LCD work to do, primarily on the elevators, adding LCDs to the elevators so you know which elevator goes where and which decks you can access using which elevator. What else did I have to do? There was something else. So I've got to put in the emergency cockpits. I've got to put in the core position. I've got to do a little bit more texturing dotted around here and there. I've got to put the LCDs in for the elevators and other places where they're still needed. And I've got the bridge to do. That's right. I've got to fancy up the bridge. It's still in basic outline at the moment, so I've got to smarten this up, and then she's finished. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Broadsword. She's in her final stages now. There won't be another video now until she's on the workshop, and then I'll do a very short 3 or 4 minute promotional video for her to show off all her main features. Oh, there's those 2 thrusters I mentioned, giving her a bit extra pitch. I hope you like her. This is now the Illustrious, the Terran Prospector ship, Charlie 001 Illustrious, named after a long line of British warships. The Illustrious was the aircraft carrier that took part in the Falklands conflict in 1982 and did a sterling job. So, what do you think of her? Let me know in the comments. I'm not going to give you a timeline for when she hits the workshop, but I'm hoping it'll be within the next week. but with my health and my scheduling, it might be a little bit longer than that. Thanks for watching. I'm the Gazbeard. This is the TPS Illustrious, nearing final fitting, and she's had her maiden test flights down to the planet and back. She performs brilliantly. I'm looking forward to playing her in game. I hope you are too. From me, as always, it's not goodbye. It's just bye for now.